Bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-da-da-dum bum bum ba-da da ba dum bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-da-da-dum bum bum ba-dum ba-ba-dum. Dun 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 bum ba da da dun 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 ba dun 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 dun. Hello, my friends. We are streaming. We are on YouTube, Facebook, where else are we? Twitter, and there's one other place that we're streaming. We're doing something different the last couple of days, and so I'm hoping to get to as many people as we possibly can. So, good evening, my friends. My name is Joette Calabrese, and normally we meet on Monday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. But tonight I thought it was important that we see if I can get as much information I can out to those who are suffering from the smoke that's coming from Canada, Quebec, and there are other areas too, but it's it's hazy. People are saying it's hazy. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Joette Calabrese, and this is what we do. For those who do know me, welcome, my friends. Long Island is very smoking, I know. Hudson Valley yesterday, I had a client from Hudson Valley area. She aimed her camera out the window and you could see the smoke. My family's in Buffalo, New York. We have family in New York and Toronto, etc. The whole area around Ontario. And so after talking to everyone yesterday and last night, I said, we have to get this information out there. The sun is red and orange. Good evening, everyone. Hi, I'm in your study group. So nice to see you. Hazy in Virginia here, but we are having a thunderstorm. My husband is an ace sailor. And the reason I tell you that is because he knows weather. He really has studied weather. I mean, it's just been a part of his life, his whole life. Living in Connecticut on the shore and growing up sailing since he was a mere tadpole. And so I actually trust him tremendously when it comes to the weather. He is always right, even when the news is not. He's always right. It's very interesting the way that all works out. I never could understand that. And then one day I bought this book at a garage sale, and it was called New Englanders. That was the title, New Englanders, and how they live or something like that. And it wasn't something from the 1800s or the 1700s or 1600s. It was, how do New Englanders think? And it cracked me up because the whole book was about how they talk and think about weather and weather only. So, yeah, super smoky South Jersey. He's saying that things are going to change in a couple of days, at least for this particular, the way the wind structure is presenting in the Northeast. And of course, now it's going to Wisconsin. I understand it's also in Michigan. So it is quite the event. It's interesting because you folks in California have been dealing with this for years. And I guess not until it comes into your own backyard do you realize how important it is that we get this information out there. Yeah, Grand Rapids, Michigan, you bet. Yep, in New Hampshire. Yeah, and I'm in Florida, and we were planning on getting back to Buffalo in the next, actually we were planning on getting back a little early than we'd planned, but we're going to hold off a little bit now, just a couple days, and then we'll head back out. Now, this is what I've done, my friends. I've done a couple different things here. And I'm using my repertory. This is Robin Murphy's Meta Repertory, 4th edition. And I look up in the clinical section, which is in the back, and I look up smoke inhalation. It's on page 2419. Smoke inhalation. Ailments from smoke inhalation. Smoke inhalation aggravates and ailments from wood smoke. Now, we're going to assume, of course, it's all wood, but maybe not, you know. I don't know exactly what's burning. I understand it's forests, but what if it isn't just wood? I imagine it mostly is. But at any rate, I look it up, and I'm going to point it out to you so you know what I'm looking at. And let's see if I can get it, because this is all backwards. Here's smoke. Right there, smoke inhalation. Under clinicals. And these are the medicines that are the most common medicines that we use in homeopathy related to being made sick from smoke inhalation. First, let's start with the possibility that you don't have any smoke in your area, but it's forthcoming. Okay, let's start with that. Or no one has been bothered yet in your family because your house is highly insulated, or you've got the air conditioning running, or you've got air filters going pretty heavily, and so no one has been affected. We're still going to start with a prophylactic, okay? This is what I would do. I'm not going to tell you, hi Donna from Orchard Park. Yeah, it's been bad these last 2 days. I'm not going to tell you that there's only one way to do this, my friends. I'm not giving you protocols tonight. I'm giving you ideas, and they're based on what the symptoms are. But let's start with the one that doesn't have symptoms yet at all. And all we're doing at this point is giving you a heads up so that you can prepare for it. And my, excuse me, my first remedy that I often think of for ailments from smoke is Natrum muriaticum. That's Nat Mur. And I like to use it in a 6X. Natrum muriaticum, or Nat Mur 6X. And I often suggest to people that it's just cell salt, and you put 4 pills into about 3 ounces of water. Stir it once, it's diluted, and you can take a sip from it every, look, if you don't have any symptoms yet, I would say maybe twice a day. And you can share that with the family. Not good in Canada. Near Ottawa, Canada. Yeah. Hello from beautiful Greece. So nice to have you here. So that's to start. And I would use that for a few days. Now, if symptoms begin, if they commence, then it's time to start using other medicines that are specific to how it's presenting. Okay? So if I look at, you'd swear I was in the smoke. Excuse me. Okay. One of the main remedies that we use in any kind of breathlessness, air hunger, ailments from tar and smoke and petrochemicals, etc., is Carbo vegetabilis. Carbo, C-A-R-B-O, first word. Vegetabilis is the second word. V-E-G-A-T-A-B-L-I-S. I'm just doing it quickly. Carbo veg. Thank you, Nicole. Nice to see you here. Carbo vegetabilis. Now, I'm going to tell you, most of these medicines, I'm going to suggest a 30th potency. 30C, 30X. Neither one way or another. Unless someone is well, we can do this 2 ways. Because this is an acute situation, we can use a 30th potency and use it more frequently, or we can use a 200 potency and perhaps not use it quite as frequently. Now, I know a lot of you always hope that you can use that method if it's more extreme. We use it in a higher potency but less frequently, and if it's you only have a lower potency, then we use it more more frequently every few minutes or every half hour, whatever. So I don't know that I said that properly. Please excuse me if I completely confuse that statement. I'll try to make it clear as we go along. So Nat-Mur we can use as a prophylactic. The next one I said is Carbo vegetabilis. And if someone has air hunger and it's mild, it's not a big deal. They just feel like, I just can't get enough oxygen. It just feels like I just need a little more air. Then I would start with perhaps a 30, every few hours. But if someone is really suffering, let's say they already have emphysema, They already have asthma, and the air hunger is becoming rather intense. Then I would say if all you've got is a 30, it's every 15 minutes for the first hour. And then perhaps after that, maybe every 3 hours, every 6 hours. And you're going to be looking for that tipping point. How frequently should I be using that? As frequently as I need it. How do you know you need it? Is when you take the medicine and there's a little bit of improvement, you can back off a little. Sometimes, however, it takes that revving up, that first few doses, every 15 minutes, for example, for the first hour. Now, if you have a 200 and that's all you have, perhaps, or even if you still have the 30, but the person is in pretty tough shape, and you're worried because of emphysema, history of emphysema, perhaps a history of repeated pneumonia and those kinds of things, then we can also use carbovegetablus in a 200, 200C, 200X. And then we're going to use it perhaps every hour if it's severe, every 3 hours if it's not so severe, and every 6 hours as it improves. So you see, I'm not giving you exacts. And the reason I'm not giving you an exact because these are not protocols. We're working with what we've got so far. Okay? The next medicine I want you to think about is Arsenicum. Arsenicum album. Now, Arsenicum album has burning. We know through my course Good Gut, Bad Gut that Arsenicum album has burning in the stomach. If there's a gut problem, we're going to use it for that. But in this situation, we're not going to have burning in the stomach, most likely. It's going to be burning in the throat, maybe in the chest, burning in the eyes, okay? But burning in the nose. Arsenicum is very specific for the nose too, my friends. Think of the number 6 as in Arsenicum 6 looks like a profile of a nose. 6 looks like a nose. It's just a profile of it. So if you have burning, particularly if it's burning in the nose, my first thought would be to use Arsenicum 6. Yes, Arsenicum 6 every 15 minutes for the first hour and then back off. Remember, my friends, we don't use these medicines if they don't act. If you don't see some kind of a shift on some level after, a number of doses, it's time to put it aside and consider something else. And how do we consider something else? We're not going back to the original condition because perhaps the burning in the nose is improved. And if it is, we're not going to say, well, it must be Arsenicum because it worked with the burning in my nose. What if instead we're finding that the eyes are streaming, lacrimation, lots of watering of the eyes? Then Arsenicum may have done its job for then. We may be able to return back to it should you feel strongly about it. But you might then go to Euphrasia. 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 Euphrasia 30 was most likely the best choice. 200 could work as well. And there is streaming of the eyes with burning, and the eyes are sensitive. Eyes are swelling. If you read up on Euphrasia in your Materia Medica, you see it's a very strong eye medicine. It's great for allergies that relate to the eyes. It's great for overexposure to the sun. It's great for the eyes. Euphrasia is a strong eye medicine, and this is no exception. So if the smoke is causing problems in the eyes, around the eyes, lacrimation, burning, swelling, redness, etc. It can also have nose. It can also have nose issues, but it's mostly focused. We're going to use Euphrasia. If it's really bad, we're going to use it in a 30, perhaps every 15 minutes for the first hour. And after that, we're going to carry on with every couple of hours or so. Remember, lots and lots of lacrimation when it comes to Euphrasia. Now, here's a remedy that doesn't even show up here. Let's see, smoke inhalation. It does not show up. But I have found in my readings and in my practice that Arnica montana can be very valuable for being exposed to toxins, period. And we know that this is a toxin. It's toxic to humans and animals. So Arnica montana can be very useful. Now, I had a discussion with my son earlier today, and he felt pain in his trachea. It felt as though, he said, someone punched him in the trachea. So Arnica, as we know, if you know anything about Arnica and injuries, it's one of our best medicines that feel as though somebody has beaten them up. If they were in a car accident, but if they feel beaten up, that's Arnica montana. And so it's no different in this situation. So if there's any achiness, like feeling beat up, it can even be in the chest. It doesn't have to be in the esophagus, the trachea. It does not have to be, my friends. It can feel, there can be achiness in the chest, not burning, not railing, not, what are some other words that we can talk about that are, no racking, none of that. We're talking about aching, pain. It's actual pain, okay? Then we would use Arnica, and we can use that in a 30th potency. Now, someone's asking about Arsenicum albo. I would use it in a 6 if you have it, because 6 is so related to the nose, but 30 would probably work very well as long as the symptoms fit. Symptoms fit, okay? That is important to remember. Okay, what have we done? We've done Carbovegetablus. We've done Nat-Mur, Arsenicum, Euphrasia, Arnica. All right. There's another medicine that you may not have, and it would behoove you to own it. It's not in the most common homeopathic medicine kits, but it's very specific for when no other medicine is working for smoke inhalation, and that's Natrum Arsenicum. Natrum Arsenicum. Okay? It's for when someone is super sensitive to smoke, and it doesn't matter where it presents. Now, we know that the Arsenicum aspect is the nose. A lot of it is but it's also in the eyes, very painful eyes. And what kind of eyes? Dry eyes. Natrum is a very specific medicine, Natrum muriaticum and Natrum arsenicum, for dry, painful eyes, sensitive. There can also be a cough, and it's a racking cough, okay? Now, the eyes are very dry, and they can be quite painful, but they can also have lacrimation. Don't think that just because the eyes are tearing, that they can't feel dry as well. We can have alternating of those symptoms, such as at night the eyes are dry, during the day the eyes are tearing. Or we can have eyes that feel dry but are actually tearing. Okay? So that remedy, Natrum arsenicum, is a very specific remedy for when nothing else is helping, but especially if the eyes, the dry, the pain in the eyes. But there's that specific dryness and redness and super sensitive to smoke. So if you walked into this situation yesterday, and you were already sensitive to smoke, you can't be around bonfires, etc., this could be your medicine. Natrum arsenicum. Okay? We've got 2 more. One more there are many more. We could also consider Kali bicromium. Kali bicromium. I particularly like Kali bicromium because it has a very specific presentation. The mucus that drains, and there is mucus that drains, is sticky, tenacious, plasticine. There's often pain in the sinuses, especially above the eyes or just between the eyes. So sinus headaches, or worse, over the left eye and then moves to the right eye. Or when the person leans over to pick up something off the floor, oh, that's when it really hurts. That's Kali bicromium, and I love that remedy in a 30th potency. Again, if it's very severe, perhaps every 15 minutes for the first hour, and then after that every 3-4 hours, depending on how severe it is. Kali Bic, sometimes it's called. Kali B, the letter B, but the full name is Kelly Bicromium. Now, if you happen to be one of my mighty members, do I have my book right here? No, I don't have it. It's in the other room. If you happen to be one of my mighty members, I love to read from Dr. James Compton Burnett's book that was penned in the late 1800s. He was a medical doctor who used homeopathy exclusively. And one of the medicines that he writes about that I've been reading this book to my mighties for some time. One of the medicines that he writes about is Brionia and how it helped him. Oh my goodness, here it is, 50 Reasons for Being a Homeopath. One of my favorite books in the whole world. And so that's why I read this book to my mighties. Brionia. Brionia is a great medicine for the respiratory tract in general, for lungs especially, but also the sinuses and the throat. And there's a heaviness under the sternum, and it kind of moves, it kind of goes off to the side. I'm pointing to my right side. It's probably the opposite of the way you're seeing me now. There's this pain in the sternum that translates into the right shoulder. It doesn't have to be there. When I tell you that these symptoms are a description of a particular medicine, my friends, not every one of these symptoms need to be in place in order for you to choose this medicine or any of these medicines, okay? So there can be a referred right shoulder pain, and that would indicate Brionia. But nonetheless, there's a hacking cough, and it's often in the chest. It can be the throat, but it's more often in the chest. And the person is obliged to sit up in order to cough. And the cough is worse at night. Brionia, I would use that in a 30. I love Brionia. I often talk about it for colds. And then we use aconitum 200 mixed with Brionia 30. We can use Brionia all by itself at this point. Brionia 30. Sore trachea is also Brionia, a sore trachea. And as I said, hoarseness. There are many more. I'm also going to go to a couple more here that I think are very valuable for you to know about. Ailments from smoke inhalation, carboveg, Brionia, Spigelia. Spigelia is one of those medicines that is, how do I say, is an absolute medicine. It's unmistakable. When someone needs Spigelia, it is clear that that is the medicine that's required. Why? Because the pain is in the eye, deep into the eye, as though someone has driven, as in the old literature is said, an ice pick through the eye. Unmistakable, wouldn't you say? That kind of pain is not something that we take mildly. That is severe pain. That's pain where the person is begging for help. If it gets to that point, we're going to go to Spigelia. That's precisely what we're going to use. Now, I like Spigelia in a 200, but 30 works as well. My kids had barking cough the other day. Spigelia is amazing. Gone after one dose. Interesting, because my other medicine for more often is known for a barking cough is Spigelia. That's different. Spigelia is also a great medicine for inhalation of smoke. And there is a barking cough and a hoarseness and even can go into a croup. Spigelia. And so I know that I'm going through this quickly, but I want you to understand one other concept here. More than just each of the medicines that I've gone through is that you may start out with needing Napmure. You might then need Spigelia because there's a croupy cough. Then you might find you're giving the Spigelia and things are a little bit better. The croup is not so severe. It's not even happening anymore. The person it's the child often who has croup, but an adult can sound croupy. A croup sounds like this. Huh. It's a bark. It's the sound of a seal barking. It is, Spigelia is awesome for croup. You bet it is. And so if you hear that deep bark of a seal, that's when we think of Spigelia, my friends. And 30 or 200, I prefer 200 in the past. That's what I've always used for my own children who had croup when they were little. But if this is croup-ish because of the sound of the cough, there's also sometimes with croup an anxiety, so it could get confused with arsenicum, because remember, arsenicum is one of our first medicines I discussed that has anxiety associated with this. By the way, oh no, let me just carry on. I don't want to jump around too much. So Spigelia is also one of our great medicines if it goes deep enough. In other words, it's going into the chest. It's clear it's not in the trachea. It's clear that it's not in the eyes. It's not above the eyes. It's not in the nose, or maybe it is a little, but it's not. That's not where it causes the greatest mischief. It's in the lungs, and it's that deep barking sound. So if the person is gone through Natmur, you've been using Natmur, now let's make a little scenario here, and now they get into a barking cough, and you use Spigelia, and it is the croup is not there, but now there are other issues coming across. You've been using the Spigelia for a day or two. This could last a little while, friends, I'm going to tell you. And you may have to pivot and pivot and pivot. As the symptoms shift, you shift. You move with them. You must pivot. You must be able to do a pirouette whenever you need to. This is, speaking of a dance analogy, this is a pas de deux. You're dancing. You're dancing with, you're watching, observing the sufferer, and you are moving with them. So when the croup is down and not severe, or not showing at all, but now their eyes, oh my gosh, my eyes are terrible. There's burning and they're swollen and their lacrimation, it is so bad. Eyes, what would we do? We can abandon croup for a little while, put it on the back burner because it may come back again because you've stopped using it, and then we go to euphrasia. Brionia worked for our headaches today from the smoke. 2 doses and it's gone. That's Romana. Thank you, Romana, for saying. Brionia is one of our best medicines for headaches. So yes, indeed, my friends, if there's a headache associated with this smoke inhalation, not the sign. Now remember, calibicromium is in here between the eyes, more often over the left eye, and then moves to the right eye. Sinuses, mucus, plasticine, thick, sticky mucus, that's calibicromium. But if it's just a garden variety, or apparently appears to be a garden variety headache, then Brionia could be a very, very well chosen medicine. I'm seeing all my friends here. Hi, Noreen. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Stephanie. And Tracy. It's great to see everyone, my team and my friends here. Let's see if we have any other questions. What's the difference between Spigelia versus a Spigelia barking? Spigelia is a cough that is unquestionably the sound of a seal. Think of, if you've ever heard seals, you've gone out west on the Pacific and near San Francisco, and you've heard those seals barking. If you've been to a zoo where there are seals, you've been to that is Spigelia. It is very precise. Now, having said that, it doesn't mean that if we use the medicine and it doesn't act, that we don't switch to the Spigelia. No, it doesn't mean that. But we're going to try to narrow it down as best as we possibly can. People need to get prepared. You got it, Janine. People, be prepared. Don't wait, my friends, to do this. Don't wait to own these medicines. Don't wait to skill up. We're living in a different world today than we were years ago. It's up to us to take care of ourselves. It's up to us to take care of our families. Unless you like drugs, unless you like synthetic drugs of commerce and hospitals that are less than adequate these days more than ever. This is information that needs not only you to own, but for your sister, your mother, your daughter, your neighbor, your homeschool friend, your church mate. This is for everyone. This is very important that you know how to do this. And I'm going to, let's see, just take a couple more looks at this, at any other, figuring out what remedies I need to order to have ready. Fantastic crash course on this hot topic. It is hot, isn't it? And if things are not improving over the next few days, I may just do another auxiliary Facebook, etc., because I think this is important. We need to stand firm. We all need to be honey badgers. Honey badger moms, my friends. Honey badger grandmothers. Honey badger neighbors. You need to get ferocious with this, because this is what we've got. This is the world in which we're living, and so this is where we're going with it. God bless you all. Thank you for coming. It's great to see you. Thank you all. Have a great week, and I will see you on Monday at my usual time. Take care. Bye now.